Welcome to another edition of Motivational Sundays with Kevin and friends. And believe it or not, we have crossed the 200 episode mark with this show. I want to thank everyone. We had 201. I forgot last week to even bring it up. But anyway, we meet every Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You know, we bring out a quote that's attached to us based on our interpretation and perspectives. We talk about the quote. At 201, I kind of shortened up the intro this morning. But anyway, I have my lovely co-host here. Let me go with my queens first before we talk to the kings, because without them, there'll be no us. Miss Larnez Kinsey, Miss Denise Lopes, Miss Anne Marie Maloney, and Miss Gilda James. All right. And the king standing here holding court, sitting back and letting God do his work. Mr. Christopher James. And hi, my name is Kevin McLemore. I'm also a co-host of my own show. So we got a wonderful quote today for you, ladies and gentlemen. It is brought to us. I think Denise Lopes brought it to us. Now, the voice of our show. We're making history today. This is the first time out of 201 episodes that we've had a female voice be the voice of our show. Oh, I'm talking about. And they say DEI is lost. Oh, we found it. All right. So, if you don't mind today, Miss Anne Marie, the voice of our show, go ahead and share the quote with our people today.
Oh, good morning, good people. Grand Rising, I should say. The quote for this Sunday is You were not made to fit spaces that were never built to hold the weight of your truth.
That. Boy, my grandmother makes pound cake that makes me feel that way. That was good. That was so good. So, Denise, how did this quote land on you?
Oh, this quote is heavy. I was feeling it. That's why I was like, um, because for me lately it's been at work because I've been doing my work. I've been doing what I'm supposed to do. Now I'm focused in my classroom, so I'm starting to feel that I don't belong, and it's just like practicing my quiet power. And I'm like, am I supposed to be here? Is this my purpose? So I'm questioning my why. So it's like, am I made to be in this place with people that don't value like the truth of who I am, like the person that I am, what I'm capable of doing? Um, and it's just like right now, I feel like I'm doing my work. I'm not like mingling with people. I'm just there to do my work, and I'm feeling like when you feel stuck, and I don't even feel like talking anymore, like explaining to people. Like this year, the state wants us to have a curriculum for the students that I teach. We don't have one. So it's like people are pushing back. Like, why do we need it? Why should we like a lot of people are gonna be mad, but not thinking about what's the purpose? Why are we there? Why are these kids? Because we setting them up for failure with not having a curriculum to teach them. So for me, it's just like, what's my truth? Like they don't like I'm not fitting there no more. And I've been thinking and writing a lot, like journaling and asking God, is this what I'm supposed to do? Remember last year was the same thing, and thinking, I'm like, God makes you uncomfortable when it's time to move on. So that's why this, like, I'm feeling like that I'm not fitting in at this place, like with the whole me, like who I am. I'm not showing up as me. Like the way I'm showing up at work, it's not feeling okay. So it's just like, did I is it time to move on? Is it I'm not fitting? So that's basically how this is really hitting me.
Well, Denise, believe it or not, um, God forces you into a room that you don't belong in because he needs you to move on. He needs you to feel the pressure. He needs you to understand what the struggle is. And it's just like anything else, like a volcano. A volcano goes for years and years underground and it's boiling and boiling. But when it reaches its peak, okay, it erupts. I'm going to tell you the world's not ready for you. You've got greatness within you. All right. And how many times has God need to send you a sign for you to go ahead and get ready for you? All right. And sometimes walking away from where you are right now, okay, to get to where you need to be, all right, with all the things that you have learned in your experience, all right, you don't need anything else. You just need to take that next step. That's the reason why when you hear me say, when people talk about motivation, motivation is the day that you open your eyes. Dedication, determination is when your foot hits the floor. And once you take that one step, no matter if it's east, west, south, or north, all right, you're going toward your purpose. Follow the light. Close the door behind you because tiny people always walk into rooms that are filled with great people and they try to take up space. Don't let anyone steal your thunder. All right. It
Thank
is time
you.
for you,
Appreciate it.
believe it or not. You got a whole group of people that show up every Sunday that's got you. All right. So you don't have to do it alone. We're ready to celebrate you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Every person that subscribes and follows this show, they follow this show because they celebrate your greatness. We're looking forward to the next chapter of your life. Now we just got to get the world ready for you because they're not ready. All right.
Thank you.
So thank you for bringing such a dynamic quote to us. All right. And so, as a queen will dominate a chessboard, why not this show be dominated by queens? I'm going to tell you, I said this in jest earlier for Christopher and myself. For most men, it's a nightmare, but for us, this is a dream come true. To have so many celebrated young women on the show. All right. I swear to God, wait a minute. Where's that IQ chart? Boy, you guys are in the three digits. All right. Christopher. Oh man, I'm glad I'm not here alone. I'm glad I have you. So we're going to turn this over to someone that is much respected. We have two educators on here, Denise and Anne Marie. Um, I'm going to tell you, this world would be nothing without any of you. So, Anne Marie, this quote and the voice of our show. All right. Wait a minute. I can't even do this because Anne Marie, you got to go last because you're the voice. So, believe it or not, I'm going to ask everyone to buckle up because, I know what Linares is going to bring us. And to my guests, I'm just going to say sit back and relax and enjoy. How's this cold land to you, Linares?
Well, reading and rising to everyone. Anne Marie, I missed you. Um, this hit me. You gotta hear me. You have been folded into places and chairs that have been too small for your spirit. You sit at a table where your voice shakes the wood and you still whisper, thinking if you make yourself small enough, you will be loved, chosen, safe. But your body knows the lie. That knot in your chest, that tightness in your throat, that exhaustion after leaving a space that claimed to include you but never see you. This is the truth screaming inside of you. I do not belong here. I was not made to be tolerated. I was made to be honored. You have been told to dim your fire so others don't squint, to dilute your medicine so it doesn't sting, to carry your grandmother's prayer in silence so the world won't feel uncomfortable. And what has that given you? Rooms where you sweat out your spirit just to breathe, doors closing the moment you step fully inside, ceilings so low you bend your own spines to survive. No more. You trust yourself. Your truth is heavy, yes, but it's not a chain. It's a crown. It is the bones of those who refuse to die nameless. It is the weight of every no you turned into a yes. It is the density of your existence. The weight is supposed to shift the room, not fit the frame. So ask yourself, who benefits from you shrinking? Who promotes, who profits off of you believing you are too much? And then what happens? When I stop apologizing for the gravity of me being me, right? We are pushed into these spaces and we are evolving and changing every day, right? This is what we do naturally. So when we get off tune with individuals that are in our current circumstances that are not on the journey to where we're going, we try to hold on to them, right? Hold on to things. When you ask God, the creator, the universe, hey, I want this. And it says, okay, I'm going to have everything on your list, but I got to get rid of all of that. And then you say, wait. No, I wanted this and that, but you can't have this and that, right?
Mm.
It's not enough room for this and that to exist. And when you're walking into the person you're becoming, you have to be grounded in the change in you, right? Because everything exists because of your efforts. Everything that is coming towards you is your karma, good and bad, is a magnet to you, your essence. So if you continuously put yourself in a container
Mm.
where your essence is being capped, eventually you're going to find a crack to see through like an octopus. And that's how this hit me.
Is gonna Denise is gonna correct me soon. All right. God, that was fresh. Um, that was a great perspective on this quote, and it makes you, it's amazing when you hear great people speak. You have one thing to do. You have to go, yeah, okay. You take that in like Sunday morning breakfast conversations with the family or whatever, and you sit there and going, wow, you know. You always find another level, Marnez, in order to peel back what is authentically our truth. All right. And that's how that hit me. Um, Ladies and gentlemen, you know something? This show is just, but there's about 1,000 things going through my mind right now every time I listen to this and the interpretation of this quote. And I know I'll do this every single show and thank this young man for his service volunteering because right now, um, this this space that we live in, we have tiny people trying to fill a space that's already full. All right. Trying to create a conversation that does not need to be a conversation. And I think what happens is when you are small, you need to listen and not try to be heard because believe it or not, you may learn something. All right. And don't be afraid. And this quote is just that don't be afraid of the truth. All right. You know what they say from the mouths out of babes, from children. Children are going to tell you just what it is. You know, Grandma, why are you wearing that? All right. Grandpa, you look old, you know. I'm growing this, and I had someone says, "Oh, you finally decided to become a grown up," and I'm going, you're 10. Shut up. So, Christopher, James, thank you for your service. I thank your grandson that's entering and going to the next level, next chapter in his life. And this is going to be a story that's going to be told. We'll read about him. He will make history. I know it, just like his father. But I'm going to ask the voice of our show to give us this quote for some of our guests that just started to tune in or are riding around and they're playing this
Mm.
back in their car. It's going to get better. All right. Anne Marie, the voice.
The quote for the today, for this week, you are not meant to fit spaces that were never built to hold the weight of your truth.
And you notice the way she got amped up this time. All right. So I can't wait for her share. All right, Christopher, how's this quote land on you?
Wow, it's a heavy one, and you know what? Doggone it, I could have easily have just walked away and not be subjected to have to go after Larnez. My God, I mean, that was a drop the mic moment. I'm sorry, my mic went up instead of down, but yeah, that was a drop the mic moment for sure.
That happens when
Um,
you get older, Christopher.
well, and I was going to get to that feeling of not fitting in as you get older. Um, I'm gonna relate a story first because that's what old people do. Um, my as Kevin mentioned, my grandson's graduation is coming up here in Great Lakes, and so I had to go. Well, I promised I would show up in uniform. Well, unfortunately, I've lost almost 40 pounds from when I was active duty. I left active duty about 185, 190 pounds, and I'm down to about 160, 158 pounds. So I go in to be refitted for a uniform, and the tailor, this beautiful woman named Jessie, she said, "You're so small." And I said, "Well, I didn't plan on shrinking, but I am." And she said, and she went and got the smallest that she could find of every single uh, garment of uniform clothing. And the idea of fitting in or being in a space where that was not designed to hold you. I watched this lady do magic and make a uniform that a very proud portion of our country wears every single day. She basically shrunk it down so that it would fit me. So the whole idea of fitting into the place that you're occupying. There have been more than one time in my naval career where I felt that the fit isn't exactly the way it should be. It didn't. The surroundings, the placement just didn't fit me. Either I would need to change that environment or simply change my location, move, be someplace else. And in the Navy, it really isn't an option where you can just up and leave. You know, it ain't that kind of job. So what I became adept at doing is simply changing the environment, adjusting the environment to where it fit me. Now, I've heard it said by wise men my entire life, always leave a place better than you found it. And in so doing, in making these environments fit me, I felt that I was doing that. When I left that environment, I left that place, it was, first off, it fit me now, but it was a better place for the next person to step into. Um, and I've been in a lot of places where I didn't feel right. Um, I didn't instantly use the expression I didn't fit in. I just didn't feel right. Okay. My mother has always said, you don't want to be someplace where you don't fit in. And at that time in my life, that meant in a place where there were just white people. You don't fit in there. As times developed, as cultures changed, as my head expanded, I recognized that it isn't always a place where a certain group of people, congregate. It's a little deeper than that. It's what seeps up from the floor, what comes in from the walls, what makes that place what it is. And if that place, if that feeling, if the setting doesn't fit you, you've got two options. One, of course, is to move out, move up, go someplace else. But as I said before, in my service to the country, I couldn't always get up and move. So it meant changing, not so much maneuvering, but causing that space to become more adapted to, first off, myself, and then whoever has to come in behind me. There was an expression that the Navy used to use. Well, I don't know if they use it, but I heard it a lot. And it always started off as the first black. And I'm saying, you know what? I'm so tired of hearing that. But as I went through one stage to the next, I found it to be true. And I actually had a chance to meet with a fellow serviceman. He had just been promoted to 06. And before I could say it, he asked me, oh, wait, his name. I can't remember his name now. But he said, have you ever heard the expression, the first black? And I said, yeah. And he said, my entire career, almost said his name. My entire career has been riddled with the idea that you are the first black commanding officer I've ever seen. And hopefully his name will come back before I finish my talk. But the whole idea was, as he came into a position, he cushioned or he contorted, he changed that position, that place, to where he was comfortable, in the hope that one, he would survive it, and two, the next person to move into it would feel more comfortable at where they had been elevated to. God, I wish I could think of his name. But anyway, the whole idea is we're placed here, not so much, for ourselves, but for all those that follow behind us. Greatness isn't measured by what you did right then. Greatness is more of what you are able to contribute after you leave, or what's noticed as a major change or major improvement to where you were after you leave. Now, that may sound like something great for a tombstone. I believe that life has a lot more to offer to those folks who are still living. I mean, I'll never lose respect I have for those who led us or got here before us. But I'm a firm believer in, I want to smell the flowers when I'm here. I want to make changes and make a real effect, a major effect on life while I'm here. Not so I can look back over my shoulder and say, yeah, I did pretty good, but so that other folks who will come after me, I can see the benefit of my effort, of my labors. As Kevin said earlier, my grandson is now entering boot camp and exits out the end of next month. He basically steps right into a legacy or the footsteps that I left 53 years ago. He is going the exact same route that I went, riding submarines, working in advanced electronics. 53 years after me. He's never seen me in uniform. He was born the same month that I retired. I spent about an hour and almost $1,000 putting together a uniform that my grandson never saw, just so that he'll see it the day he graduates. That basically embodies what I feel when I think about being in a place, okay, that isn't designed to support your thoughts or your weight. My whole life's mission has been to reinforce whatever place I'm at so that it will support my thoughts and my goals and my ambitions. And I want to do that for those people following me, my offspring, my grandson, or just anybody else. I want to make sure that path that they take isn't as rough as mine was, but is as comfortable and as nurturing as possible, so that they may go on and make a path that will support the next generation that comes in after them. Play it forward, you want to call it that? Yeah. But my whole life's mission is to not only make my life comfortable, but the life of the folks behind me. If I can break the ice, make it easier, shore up the structure to where it will support their thoughts, their life, their ambitions, then by God, that's what I'm going to do. And I'll take whatever time and energy it takes to do that until I'm just dust underneath the gravestone.
Well, the one thing right now is that your story is never ending. You are not dust right now. Um, and the legacy that you have created when your grandson sees you in that uniform, your story will be an inferno in his heart. in his mind. And that torch will never die out because he's going to remember that. And it is just like the conversations that we have each and every week with all of us. All right. When you leave the room, the impression we continue to tell that story. And that's just you being authentic. Small people, I said this before, always walks into the crowd room and they make noise. And those small people, they need to be ignored. I mean, this past week, there are a group of small people that showed up on the campuses of historically Black colleges trying to make some noise.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to say, how do you silence the noise? You ignore the conversations being had. Because when I looked at it, I'm looking at these adults walk into the space of our children getting a higher education. I'm going, why aren't you at work? All right. No one sees that. You got individuals and they just said, we're trying to have a conversation. You ever see a phone booth? You remember those things? And the phone in there, it's empty for a reason. All right. If you don't make a deposit into that machine, it does not allow you to have a conversation. Move on. So, Christopher, again, um, your story is still being written. All right. You're that footprint in the sand, not to follow. You're paving the way for your grandson to have his own footprints in the sand, and for his story to be told. The only difference is when his story is told, your name is going to be also part of that story. All right. So it will never end. All right. So Gilda, all right, you're holding the hands and sitting by the man of greatness. And without a queen, none of us will ever get a chance to even mention the word king. All right. The greatness and the power of everything. And I will say it, it's in our women. No matter what the hue, this is the greatness of power. And I'm a firm believer we would not be in this mess if one of you was in charge and be the captain of the ship. So, Gilda, I'm going to ask Anne Marie, voice of our show, to give us this quote one more time and savor on this for a little bit and give us your interpretation. The voice.
Okay. You were not meant, you were not made to fit spaces that were never built to hold the weight of your truth.
Oh boy, how many times can you rep that out? All right. I'm getting a pump now. All right, Gilda. Please don't interpret that any other way. That was a weightlifting term.
Grand Rising all. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well, just to break it down, I came up with this. You don't fit where you're not valued.
That's it.
Right. Just to break it down, the summary, quick, fast, and in a hurry. Think about that. All right. So when we get to this point in the show, you know that we have given you our very best. And now it's up to Miss Anne Marie and myself to close the show. And again, this is almost just as bad as following Larnez at the end of the show. To have Anne Marie, it's like, someone save me, Christopher, save me. All right. But I want you guys to be prepared. Anne Marie, I don't know how she's going to say it. I know what it's going to feel like. I know what it's going to look like. But I'm going to tell you, okay, if this doesn't make you think, go back to bed.
Well, I appreciate the way that you always build us up, Kevin, and you always encourage us and help us to bring the power with it. I the way that the quote hit me is I started to think about the spaces. What spaces are we thinking about? What spaces do we refer to? I think about the workplace. I think about the societal norms that say you should be this way, you should do that. And basically, most of our lives, we've been told a lie. And there's a saying that goes, you have to unlearn everything that you learned, that you were taught. Because the truth of the matter is, we're not always given all of the information. And there are people who are in power, in control, and they want to maintain that control. And in order to do that, they have to have people that come underneath them. And, that's the way capitalism works, doesn't it? The industrialization of America. You need a workforce, but you also need somebody who's going to be in control. You need the boss, and so on and so forth. So these things occur, and we find ourselves trying to fit into these spaces. And the next question I had in my mind is, why are we trying to fit? Okay. We are trying to fit because we were told we were supposed to fit. Somebody outside of ourselves tell us where we belong and how we should be and what we should do. And because I live in the questions, I start to think, how many of us know who we are? How many of us know who or what our truth is? How many of us are so in tune to our being uh, that we can identify that this group of people fits with us and this group of people does not. Sometimes we can't even make those choices or decisions because we're trying to fit into somebody else's patterns. We might know that it doesn't seem right, but we don't know why because we don't know our truth. So I'm with Gilda in terms of value and worth, that the first step or mindset shift is think about what your worth is, think about your value, ground yourself in who you are and who you are not. And once you understand yourself, you know where to navigate. I will say this to young people that I admire and I love learning from them is they no longer feel constricted by staying in a job or a position or a station in life as my generation did. They will move in a heartbeat. And what I admire about that is the ability to create new pathways, the ability to create new inroads. Okay, you don't want to give me a seat at the table. I'm going to make my own table. I'm going to create my own space. I'm going to create my own art. I'm going to create my own business. I'm going to create everything that I need because from creation, my soul expands, my soul evolves. And through that, there's an affirmation. So I close with this thought to affirm in the notion in terms of leaving spaces better than how you found them is that every person, regardless of their decision, to affirm them. Because when you affirm someone and they can feel that inside their spirit, they will evolve in such a place, whether they stay or whether they go in these spaces, that they will leave a light behind. And in that way, they transform the weight of truth. Because why is the truth weighty? I would tend to think the truth is light. So they will transform the weight of the truth in something that is light. And then the next person coming behind can say, I can do that too. And to me, that is transferring of light. That is transferring of possibilities. You are evolving into your higher self. So that is how the quote hit me.
All right, like I said before, that was another drop the mic moment. I mean, I every time I get a quote, it's like an echo with that mic hitting the floor. Denise, thank you so much for bringing this quote. And based on interpretations and perceptions, look, ladies and gentlemen, when you hear this quote one time, you think about it. All right. But when you hear about it two, three, four times, whatever, the quote hits you in a way, it becomes repeatable. And I'm hoping that our listeners, our fans, our friends, and our family, when you look at this video and you start to think about how does this quote land on you, go ahead and create a conversation with your group. All right. Small people make big decisions, and small things that turn out big was started out by people in small groups. So when you hear this quote, you are not made to fit in a space that was never built to hold your truth. What I want you to think about is being true to yourself. You've heard this before. Some of you would say it's all about authenticity. I actually said that word, believe it or not. So, what this does is suggest your truth, your values, your identity, your voice, and your experience, which has been shared by everyone on here. And where the real weight is your significance. All right. Trying to shrink or suppress your truth to fit into someone else's values, someone else's space, and whatever is not ideal. All right. What you're capable of and going into your environment does not honor you if you try to make something that doesn't work for you work for what you're trying to make something work for you, but you're being forced to work for it. It is not true. This quote is all about belonging versus fitting in. The space was never built to hold you. Let's be honest. All right. It refers to relationships. It refers to your job. It refers to your community. It refers to this system that we're being played by. All right. That was not designed to hold your truth. That's the reason why we're burning books again. That's the reason why we're trying to rewrite history. That's the reason why someone is going walking around talking about slavery is not all that bad. Blacks actually benefited from it. All right. We know in this small group, all right, you can't force us to feel or squeeze your truth into us. All right. It's a reflection of your inadequacy. All right. And if you take this personal, then I'm talking to you. It is designed not for those um, that can never fit into your space. It's designed for a conversation that person should fear because if they get in your space, they'll hear the truth. Again, the third part of this is about your freedom. Instead of forcing yourself into a space where this quote calls you to honor your truth, it means walking away, Denise. All right. Find the right space that aligns for you. All right. And don't let someone else hold you hostage. All right. And I'm talking to all of you. We all feel this space. You wake up every single morning, you walk into a space and feel like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm going to give it one more day. All right. Time is the most valuable asset that we have. You don't have one more day. You don't have another 30 seconds. All right. Look at where you are right now and say, is this where I'm supposed to be? Or this is where I was meant to be right now until I get to the place where I need to be. So never shrink yourself to fit into a space that was never made for you. Your truth has weight. It has value. And it deserves a space that will hold you in it. When you walk away, you show your authentic you. The right room will make space for you. The right people will listen to you. The right opportunity, listen to me, Denise, will come to you. And you surround yourself with people like Motivational Sundays with Kevin and friends that will raise you up and remember you. You were not made to fit into small spaces. You were made to fit a room that was prepared for you that you can fill with your truth. This is how this quote landed on me. So, ladies and gentlemen, all right, we have come to that time in our show that every good thing has to come to an end until you repeat it. It begins all over again. And I want to thank everyone that has allowed us the opportunity to have this space. If you like what you heard, go to our YouTube page, RMK Production and Network on our YouTube page. If you'd like to write a comment or even be on the show, the link is in the description of each of our shows. Come on here, as long as you bring something positive. My grandfather always said, when you get to a place that you can help someone else out, he said it's your duty to do so. He said, reach one, teach one. And with that said, I'm doing a lot of hand things today. Look at that. Kind of got into it. Um, he says, when you get to a place in your life you can help someone else out, he said, it's your duty to do so. All right, that was my grandfather, a tiny man filling a big space. And look what Grandpa did. All
Yeah.
right. He got Kevin to stand up, all right, and fill the room. And that's what Motivational Sundays do. So with that said, we what?
We fade to black.
And don't forget to come
Come
back.
back.
All right. All right. Until next week. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.